Have you ever sensed something was off about someone? That silent tension, the unspoken discomfort, like the air itself, grows heavier when they enter. It's as if their presence quietly drains the energy from the room. It's not always obvious. Evil doesn't always come with a menacing glare or a villain's mask. It often hides in plain sight, disguised as charm, familiarity, or even kindness. Evil doesn't always reveal itself outright. Instead, it hides behind a smile, speaks with charm, and may seem helpful at first. But make no mistake, these people don't need a reason to hurt you. They don't need a reason, it's simply who they are. They manipulate, deceive, and control not with force, but by slowly wearing down your confidence, your peace, and even your sense of reality. Stoicism teaches us to protect our minds and spirits, focusing only on what we can control. One of life's most crucial skills is recognizing those who intend to harm us, before they get too close. Evil often stays hidden until it's too late. But here's the good news, it always leaves clues. There are clear warning signs, red flags that, if you pay attention, will expose a person's true nature. Spotting these signs won't just protect your peace, it will safeguard your very identity. In this video, I'll guide you through 6 powerful red flags that reveal the toxic, manipulative people in your life. Learn to recognize them, and you won't just avoid pain, you'll regain your power. Before we dive in, if you're ready to protect your peace and elevate your mindset, consider subscribing now. Let's get into it. Red flag number 1, they constantly lie or manipulate the truth. Truth is the cornerstone of trust. Without it, relationships fall apart. An evil person doesn't disregard the truth because they have to, but because they want to. Deception isn't just a tool, it's their way of life. They lie to manipulate, control, and keep you in doubt, questioning what's real and what's not. At first, their lies might seem insignificant, just a small exaggeration here, a slight distortion there. But over time, the pattern becomes undeniable. One day, they tell you something with complete certainty, only to deny it when you bring it up later. If you question them, they get defensive, accusing you of misremembering, overreacting, or making things up. And slowly, doubt begins to creep in. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I'm overthinking. That's the trap. A truly malicious liar doesn't just deceive, they alter reality. They gaslight, distorting events so you begin to doubt your own memory, your own instincts. One moment you're certain of the truth, the next you're lost in a cloud of confusion. This is intentional. A confused mind is easy to control. Now, think about the times they could have told the truth but chose not to. Moments where honesty wouldn't have cost them anything, yet they still opted for deception. Why? For them, lying isn't just about avoiding consequences, it's about gaining power. They lie to create an advantage, to test limits, to see how much they can get away with. They make up stories, twist words, and distort facts, not because they have to, but because they can. And the most unsettling part, they never feel guilt. A Stoic knows that a clear mind is crucial for living a virtuous life. When someone constantly manipulates the truth, they're not just dishonest, they're a threat. Every encounter with them becomes a game, a mental battleground where you're left exhausted, drained, and uncertain of what's real. And that's exactly what they want. But you don't have to engage. If someone in your life follows this pattern, don't brush it off as a bad habit or a small flaw. It's a red flag right in front of you. The longer you tolerate their lies, the more control they gain over your thoughts, emotions, and sense of reality. So ask yourself, are you always doubting your own perception when you're around them? Do you feel uneasy, like something's always off? If you do, step back, protect your mind, and most importantly, trust your instincts. An evil person will never give you the truth, it's up to you to recognize it for yourself. Red flag 2, they love conflict. A clear sign you're dealing with someone whose intentions are far from virtuous is their relentless commitment to creating conflict. While most people seek harmony, aiming to resolve conflicts with kindness or at least avoid chaos, these individuals are irresistibly drawn to it, like a moth endlessly circling a flame. In their wake, they plant seeds of discord, subtly orchestrating the drama around them as if it were a grand performance, and they revel in every act. Following the teachings of Stoic philosophers, we understand that external events, like conflict, are often beyond our control. However, our response, our inner discipline, and our peace are ours to manage. Yet, these conflict-driven individuals seek to destroy that very sense of inner stability. They live for drama, fueling tension and stirring conflict whenever possible. Often, they don't even need a reason, chaos itself is their goal. Every argument, every spike in anxiety is a victory, proof of their manipulative nature. They work in subtle ways, planting small doubts, reviving old grudges, and quietly turning people against each other. They pretend to be innocent, but in reality, they are the masterminds of conflict. With carefully chosen half-truths, they sow jealousy and suspicion among friends. A casual remark here, a knowing glance there, before you know it, tension fills the room. They don't just witness conflict, they create it. And when things go wrong, watch closely, you'll see that subtle smirk, that flicker of satisfaction, proof that they relish the chaos they've caused. Picture a simple family gathering, laughter, shared memories, and good food. Then, at just the right moment, this person slips in a carefully crafted remark, sparking tension between two relatives. In an instant, the warmth fades, replaced by an uneasy silence. It's as if they've been waiting for the perfect moment, carefully plotting the most disruptive remark for maximum emotional damage. Then, they fade into the background, silently enjoying the chaos like an audience at a tragic play. You can almost feel the ripple of discord spreading through the room, a sharp contrast to the harmony that existed just moments ago. A Stoic mindset reminds us that while we can't control the chaos others create, we can protect our own minds. But it's important to understand, people like this don't just cause trouble, they thrive on it. They thrive on the heartbreak, the tension, and the broken relationships, things that would deeply unsettle most people. They almost never take responsibility. Instead, they pretend to be unaware, claim they were just trying to help, or even portray themselves as the innocent victim. I don't understand why everyone is overreacting. I was just speaking the truth. In reality, their actions are calculated, exploiting every vulnerable spot they can find. The most troubling thing about these instigators is their complete lack of empathy. They see no value in harmony or genuine human connection. Instead, they thrive on the negative energy that conflict brings, taking pleasure in every tear and every broken bond. For them, creating chaos is a form of entertainment, a way to remind themselves of the power they have over others' emotions. Through deliberate drama, they seize control, a power that Stoic teachings urge us to protect by staying composed and rooted in our values. In the end, the best approach is to protect your inner peace. If you notice someone consistently pushing conversations toward conflict, manipulating situations to turn people against one another, or showing a disturbingly cheerful attitude when tensions rise, take it as the warning it is. You deserve to be around people who value harmony, respect, and empathy, not those who find joy in causing conflict just to watch others suffer. Protect your mental peace by stepping back and setting clear boundaries. Life is too precious to waste on people who treat relationships like a battleground. As the Stoics teach us, we must stay alert, carefully choosing the influences we allow in our lives. When needed, we should walk away from those whose love of chaos only pulls us down. Red flag 3. They make you feel like you're always at fault. A mind filled with doubt is one that can be easily controlled. Those who harbor evil understand this deeply, which is why they often resort to one of the most deceptive tactics, gaslighting. They don't need physical chains or threats to control you, just a gradual breakdown of your confidence, making you doubt your own reality until you depend on them to define what's true. It starts off subtly. You voice your frustration, and they tell you you're overreacting. You remember an event differently, and they insist it never occurred. You mention something hurtful they said, and they dismiss it. You're too sensitive. Slowly, you start to question your own thoughts. Did you really misunderstand? Are you being too emotional? Maybe, just maybe, the problem isn't them, but you. That's exactly what they want you to believe. Someone who truly cares about you will listen, even if they don't agree. But an evil person doesn't want understanding, they want control. Their aim is to make you feel unstable, uncertain, and ultimately reliant on them for validation. The more you doubt yourself, the more power they gain. Picture this: you're in an argument, and you know you're right. You remember the conversation clearly, but they insist you're wrong. They distort the facts, rewrite the story, and make you feel foolish for even mentioning it. Suddenly, you're no longer defending your point, you're defending your sanity. The Stoics guide us to trust our reason, see things as they are, and stand firm in what we know is true. But gaslighting is crafted to distance you from the truth, causing you to doubt your own judgment. Once you start seeking validation from others for what you should already know, you surrender control of your mind to them. If someone consistently makes you feel like you're the problem, dismisses your emotions, and distorts your reality, consider it a warning. You don't owe your loyalty to anyone who undermines your sense of self. Stand your ground, trust your perception. You are not crazy, you are not overreacting, and you don't need their approval to trust your own reality. Red flag 4. They play the victim in every situation. Life is filled with challenges, and no one is spared from hardship. A strong person meets difficulties with resilience, owning their choices. But an evil person? They wear victimhood like armor, shielding themselves from responsibility while using it as a weapon against others. To them, nothing is ever their fault. They blame the world, their past, the people around them, anyone but themselves. When things go wrong, they don't reflect or grow. They just point fingers. Worst of all, they expect you to believe their sob story, feel sorry for them, and excuse their actions, because, after all, they've had it so hard. At first, it may seem like harmless self-pity, but over time, you'll notice the pattern. And no matter how much you help, their problems never seem to get better. Their misfortunes are always exaggerated, their suffering always seems greater than anyone else's. They drain you emotionally, using your empathy like a leash to keep you tied to their endless cycle of misery. And if you dare hold them accountable or set a boundary, they'll flip the script instantly. How could you do this to me? You're the one hurting me. Suddenly, you're the villain. Your reasonable request turns into an attack, and their refusal to change suddenly becomes your fault. They twist reality, making you wonder if you were too harsh, too insensitive, or too selfish for simply prioritizing your well-being. This isn't just emotional manipulation, it's control. The Stoics teach us that while we can't control external events, we always have power over our response. A person who refuses to take responsibility for their actions isn't just weak, they're dangerous, because when someone never owns their mistakes, they will always shift the burden onto you. Ask yourself, are you always making excuses for them? Do you feel guilty for setting even the most basic boundaries? Have you been dragged into their endless problems, only to realize they don't want solutions, just more sympathy? If so, it's time to step back. You are not responsible for saving someone who refuses to help themselves. You are not bound to relationships fueled by guilt and manipulation. Someone who weaponizes their victimhood at the expense of others isn't just toxic, they're a threat to your peace. See the pattern, reject their manipulation, and most importantly, walk away. Red flag 5. They constantly criticize you, but never acknowledge your successes. There's a certain kind of poison that doesn't kill you instantly, but wears you down over time. Constant, relentless criticism. It doesn't show up as direct attacks or blatant insults. Instead, it quietly seeps into your mind with small, calculated remarks, always highlighting your flaws and never acknowledging your achievements. An evil person seldom celebrates your victories. No matter how hard you work, how much you improve, or what you achieve, it will never be enough for them. If you succeed, they'll brush it off. If you improve, they'll change the goalposts, and if you dare to feel proud of yourself, they'll be there to remind you of everything you could have done better. Imagine this: you spend weeks on a project, pushing yourself to your limits. At last, you achieve your goal and can't wait to share your success with someone close to you. Their response: a cold shrug, a dismissive "well, that's good, but you could have done better," or worse. They compare your success to their own, always reminding you that they've done more, done better, and always will. This isn't constructive criticism, it's intentional erosion. A Stoic knows that external validation is fleeting, but even the strongest mind can be worn down by constant negativity. Evil people understand this. They don't want to see you grow, they want to see you doubt yourself. Their goal is to plant a seed of insecurity so that, over time, you start trusting their voice more than your own. The most insidious part: while they minimize your accomplishments, they magnify their own. They boast about their successes, their talents, their superiority, always positioning themselves above you. It's not just about making you feel small, it's about boosting their own sense of power. But always remember this: their words do not define you. The Stoics teach us to measure ourselves by our own principles, our progress, not by the opinions of those who try to tear us down. If someone in your life is always criticizing but never supporting you, ask yourself, what do they gain from this? And more importantly, what are you losing by keeping them around? No one has the right to make you feel unworthy. Recognize the pattern. Protect your mind and never allow someone else's bitterness to define your worth. Step away from those who only seek to diminish you. Your growth is not theirs to control. Red flag 6. They display no empathy or compassion. If there's one trait that distinguishes the virtuous from the wicked, it is empathy, the ability to share in another's joy, to feel their pain, and to recognize the humanity in those around us. This is what binds people together. But an evil person, they feel nothing, not for you, not for anyone. Their indifference is chilling. You can be suffering, breaking under the weight of grief, and they will stand there unmoved. If they acknowledge your pain at all, it will be with cold detachment. Well, life's unfair. Or worse, they may twist the moment to make it about themselves, steering the conversation away as if your emotions are an inconvenience. Imagine going through a profound personal loss, losing a loved one, facing a devastating failure, or experiencing heartbreak. You turn to them, hoping for understanding, for even the smallest act of kindness, but instead of comfort, all you get is a blank stare, a shrug, a dismissive comment as if it's something that happens to everyone. Their lack of humanity becomes impossible to ignore. The Stoics teach us to control our emotions and remain resilient through adversity. But they never promote coldness. True strength isn't about being emotionless, it's about acting with wisdom and compassion. Evil people, on the other hand, confuse apathy with strength. They view others not as fellow humans, but as tools to be used, cast aside, or ignored when they no longer serve a purpose. Their emotional emptiness creates a suffocating presence. When you are around them, you don't feel seen, you feel invisible, you don't feel understood, you feel alone. And that is exactly how they want you to feel, because isolation makes you easier to control. But here's the truth, you are not small and you are not invisible. If someone constantly dismisses your feelings, ignores your struggles, or treats your life as unimportant, they are revealing their true nature. Believe them, a person without empathy isn't just emotionally distant or bad at expressing themselves. They are dangerous because if they can't care about your pain, they will have no hesitation in inflicting it. Recognize the warning signs, protect your spirit, and never waste time seeking warmth from someone who has none to offer. The absence of empathy isn't just a flaw, it's a red flag. Walk away before their emptiness consumes you. Dude, I understand that this may feel overwhelming. Recognizing these red flags isn't always simple, especially when emotions are involved, and you want to believe the best in someone, but understanding these signs can save you from years of pain, manipulation, and self-doubt. Evil people don't always come with a warning, they quietly enter your life, gradually eroding your confidence, peace, and sense of self. But here's the truth, you don't owe your energy to those who drain you. The moment you recognize these patterns, you have a choice to step back, protect yourself, and reclaim your power, even if it's difficult, even if it means walking away from someone you once trusted. Remember this, your peace is worth more than their presence. If this video resonated with you, I want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever encountered someone like this? How did you handle it? Or are you still navigating that situation? Share your story in the comments, you never know who might need to hear it, and if you're on a journey of self-growth and self-protection, make sure to subscribe. There's so much more to explore about recognizing toxic people, building resilience, and mastering your mindset. Until next time, take care of your heart, guard your mind, and always trust your instincts.